And okay, welcome to our new broadcast on the UW study group for Sunday. We're going to record some of the summaries of the information that we've covered in the talks. We don't plan on doing the whole hour, but just some summary information. This will be about 15 or 20 minutes or so. And so basically what we've done is we're looking at Kubernetes with Minikube, and a problem that run into, it takes a long time to download more complex type of container configurations just to get the containers downloaded. So we want some kind of local container repository. And so in working that out, what we've looked at, we said, well, we'll try to use the Minikube repository, which you can do because Minikube has its own repository, but you have to change the context in your shell on your local machine to use the Minikube Docker environment. So this command right here basically is the one that you use to set your shell to use the Minikube Docker environment, and then you can have access directly to the repository inside of Minikube. And then you add containers to the VirtualBox VM. Of course, we're running Minikube in VirtualBox, and then there's VirtualBox VM. And so one of the ways we're experimenting with to keep copies of our local repository is to simply export the VM from VirtualBox in different configurations. Export and import and starting has had some issues at first. It's smoothing out. Seems to be a good type of way to explore. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to show some of the code that we used in the stop sharing this one. And I'll just show the basic example of bringing up a Minikube by itself with no specific containers that are going to perform any functions. Just the containers it takes to run Minikube and to get that rolling. So what I need to do now, of course, is find my, here we go, we got that. So, okay, I found that part. Then I'll go over here in the study group, and then we'll go down here to where we'll find this. And now, okay, so here is the first one I'm looking for. So now that I've found it, then what I need to do is come back up here and share it with everybody. And here we go. Okay, share this. Present to everyone. And the key thing to notice here is that essentially there's in the Minikube, and now that we're in the Docker environment, as you can see, Docker images, that command to list the images. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh, well, this 15 down here to the 30, that's basically what is Minikube all by itself. And then these other three, the front end, the Redis slave, and then the Redis master, that's those are added when you give further commands. So I actually started with the first 15. I did a Minikube. I created a VM. I saved that VM off. I imported it back in. I took a copy of that VM. I imported it back in. Then I added the other three. And that works well. I've had got that working. There's a few issues with the sequence of exactly when you export and what files you delete and so forth. but I'll try to have that more well documented for our next meeting on Wednesday. And now I'm going to bring up, let's see, okay, yeah, so we got that one. Now I'm going to bring up what our local system is, what it is right now. And we should have 18 containers, or no, 20 containers in there now. We've added a couple more. So let's find this one, bring this guy up, see what we got here now. We've got, yeah, so we've got Nginx and MySQL at the top. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So there's 20 containers in there now. And I can take the VM, I can export it, I can delete it, I can delete the VM, and then bring up VirtualBox again, import the VM, and have the whole complete system back up in less than 15 seconds, where as before it would take me 15, 20 minutes to download all of the containers for the Minikube, and then anywhere from, 30 minutes to 50 minutes for some of these other larger containers. So it really is very efficient, really helps a lot. And so let's bring up the dashboard here, the Minikube dashboard, and look at that. And what I've done is I've done 2 deployments now that need persistent volumes. I've got one with just MySQL here. Let's see if, make sure that everyone can see that. Aha! I need to stop this particular one and bring up the new dashboard so everybody can see that. Here's the dashboard. So the first persistent volume claim I put up was for the MySQL, and I did that in the second set of pods and containers that I imported. And then I brought in this next task for a persistent volume claim. That was for another little node operation that I was putting together. And when I originally did that, I did it out of sequence. I actually started the system that needed the claim before I put the claim in. And on my overview at that time, then the pods here in the center showed basically that it was the failure of one of the pods. The center one here, it says 100% now. Before, when I couldn't make the claim, it showed, I don't know, 15 or 20%, something like that, failure. And you could drill down into the by just clicking on these things, and it would tell you what it was and what was wrong, what was broken. And that was really nice. So now, however, it's running. Hopefully you can see there. Yeah, you can see that. So we've got the conditions created by, it's got its claim. The claim is all there. And it's working pretty well. So I think there's a lot of promise in using the VirtualBox and just importing and exporting VMs in different configurations as we're experimenting and trying to figure out these more complex situations. Because, if we mess something up, then we can just destroy that one particular VM and import a copy of what we had to work with before and not have to go back and do everything all over again. Anyway, in my case, and that's really saved a lot of time and a lot of effort doing that. And so we got namespaces here, basically running default, public, and system. I haven't added any namespaces yet. I plan on doing that a little bit in the future. But I really want to get the sequence down of actually destroying these things and spinning them up. Maybe even see if I can script it a little bit. We'll have to see how that works. Nodes, we're just running Minikube, that's all. But for pods, we're running a lot of pods. As we can see here, it's we've got the MySQL, we've got 2 front ends with replicas running, and the Redis slaves and the Redis masters, and they're going well. Haven't got the node running on Nginx yet. That's just because I didn't quite get enough time before the meeting started to do that. It's kind of overview of where we are and what we've been doing. We'll be moving forward to look at other aspects of the so you can see the VirtualBox is kind of really a good tool. We're going to see how we can better integrate that into our local workflow. Adrian was talking about some type of repository. I wrote the notes down here. Give me just a second. Pull through, a Docker pull through cache. We'll want to take a look at that. We might be able to set it up with a Minikube to set up a local repository that way. Also, maybe combine that with some of the network policies that Adrian's been working on. So that's where we are and where we're headed forward to see what kind of configuration is necessary to put together a system. It's a little more complex, like an ELK stack that's observing a pub sub like Kafka. And
hey,
hello,
Joseph.
Yeah.
I got a quick question since you got the VirtualBox screen up.
Sure.
Would VirtualBox be capable of running a VMware VM?
I don't know. I don't think so, but I could. Why
No,
not?
I'm just, I've got, you and I had talked about my purchasing my own Mac for the future.
Sure.
Well, I'm at that point.
Oh, good.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna try to make plans to do that like this week.
Okay.
And try to get started with my own thing. So I'd feel much more comfortable. If I do something and I blow that thing sky high, let's go get it fixed or fix it, myself.
Yeah. So if you want to work with VirtualBox, I'll be more than happy to work with you. I know nothing about VMware. And
yeah, I know VMware has a player and the VMware, regular product. So
right. Yeah, it's
go ahead.
well, I didn't use it because it basically cost money. Wasn't open source,
Right.
so I decided to bite the bullet and go with Learn VirtualBox.
Well, and quite honestly, we've got a guy on our team who did the same thing. He's using VirtualBox for that very reason. It's free.
Well,
and
and
so,
you can also script it. I mean, I can script VirtualBox with Kubernetes, but with Ansible, and
right.
it's use Hitachi Corp tools and Vagrant and
right.
Yeah, so it has it's a component in a larger open source ecology. Yeah, but hey, well, that sounds good. And if you have any questions at all as you're going forward,
I'm just gonna go. I've got to bite the bullet and get my own now.
Cool.
If I'm gonna go anywhere, if I'm gonna make any progress with learning, because right now it's more of a fear of wrecking the box and not being able to use it day to day.
Sure.
Yeah, I've been working on some things with our with our web server threads and web client threads. So
sounds good.
Yeah, it's been interesting.
So I think what I'll do is I'll just give a little summary on the broadcast here and then stop the broadcast and we can continue to chat afterwards, okay?
Oh, sorry. Oh, I forgot we were broadcasting.
That's okay. That's fine. So anyway, just to kind of wrap it up here, we're looking at different ways that we can have local container repositories, reduce the amount of time, network utilization it takes to get our containers, and so we can use more complex and engage more complex types of network situations. So that's our going to end our broadcast for this evening.